And welcome into the Backstage Pass here for a Thursday. Glad everybody could be with us here once again. Of course, Brandon Morrell here flying solo today. My co-hosts are kind of doing some other things behind the scenes. Jeff McMahon and Kirsty Krause. Good news is at 5:30 today, we get to stay down in Australia. Miss Catherine Britt is going to join us on the program. Jeff McMahon will be with me from Nashville. We're presented by our good friends over at Toir Guitars. So check them out at toirguitars.us and also Bangtail Whiskey, bangtail.com. You can download the Easy Liquor app and get that bottle sent to your door today. Some good stuff out there. And don't forget, tomorrow, 5 Central, 6 Eastern, you might remember the rock band Saliva. Well, the member of that, Bobby Amaru, is coming on the show tomorrow to talk about the new EP from Saliva, the big-time rock band we've been listening to for the past 15 years. I tell you what, this Newcastle product, I started listening to her just about, a couple of months ago, and I said I absolutely had to have her on the program. Katie Jayne joins us. What's going on?
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Well, good to have you on the show today. We got a couple of great songs to play. Of course, the Drunk Dial Tour is going on for yourself right now, which is cool. We're going to play that single today on the show, and also just another great video that you put together for us. Well, tell me about that. Your first tour out there, and you guys had to kind of pack it all up and perform there just outside Newcastle. And tell me about what's going on with this Drunk Dial Tour. I got to start there.
Well, you guys are on tour with me right now. If you can see the back of my car with all the junk on the boat. We're about 5 hours out of Brisbane now. We left at 4 o'clock this morning, and we're almost at the end of the tour. It's been really cool. Like, it's my first tour as a solo artist, and it was because of COVID. I had so many weekends off, and I never wanted to feel like that again. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go and book my first tour, and it's just been amazing. We released the single Drunk Dial, and we did a full band release, and then we've taken just an acoustic act out on the road, and just kind of got to the places where we normally wouldn't be able to go to. So Brisbane is kind of the closest we're getting to the big city, but yeah, most of our shows are being kind of out west, and then we're going down south a little bit. But yeah, it's almost over. So sad.
Everything comes to an end. I should say, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. Good morning in Australia there, by the way, which is early over here in the evening hours and almost to the twilight hours of the evening into midnight, that kind of thing. But good morning to you in Australia. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say that here on the Backstage Pass. Well, I love your music, and I love you've got a lot of this girl power style in it. You know, no matter what song it is, you've got some of the good, slow, smooth ballad stuff, which is great. And you've got all this girl power sass. And of course, you know, people can relate to this. I guess I try to hit the nail on the head. Describe yourself as an artist and your music and a little bit about Drunk Dial, because this is a great single.
Look, I have the easiest job in the world because I am my own target demographic. I write songs for girls that are just like me. And so literally everything that comes out of my mouth is it's my truth. And so when it comes to songs like Drunk Dial, yeah, I've got the sadder songs, but Drunk Dial was just a chance to have fun and play around with something that I think everyone can relate to at least once in your life. And whether it's drunk texting or something you've done under the influence that you're like, oops, yeah, like I probably shouldn't have done that. And it's not a big deal. You wake up the next morning, you're like, oops, like what have I done? But it's just a really fun, just fun and rocky. I loved making that track, and I love playing it now. I love playing it with the band, especially.
Talk about your band, because I always say a lot of times when artists take the stage and we go to concerts with the show and we do some coverage out there here in Texas and nationwide. What's it like? I mean, stepping on stage and the full band, and you guys have that playing in front of those crowds. I mean, is there a better feeling? Probably not.
No, there's no better feeling, but there's also no worse feeling than the half an hour before you go on stage as well. So I get catatonic. I get so sick, and I'm just like, for some reason, I freak out. And then I get on the stage, and we get halfway through the first song, and I just, like, a whole weight comes off my shoulders. I'm like, you know what? This is the best feeling in the world, 100%.
Nothing like it too out there. I know I was doing a little homework too. You got some great musical influences out there. Dolly Parton, you feel like kind of shaped you as an artist. The Chicks, which we can't say the other word now, but started listening to them. And Texas' own down here, Miranda Lambert. Talk about just those ladies and, of course, the Chicks and the influences they had on you as an artist.
I grew up on the Chicks. I actually surprisingly didn't get into Dolly until the last couple of years. I think when when Dolly, so this is how I got into country music. I was in Texas, surprisingly enough. I was in Austin. And in Australia, country music was a little bit taboo. I lived on a farm, rural New South Wales, but country music was my little secret. And so I listened to the chicks on the side. I listened to Keith Urban and Garth Brooks. I love Garth. And it wasn't until I was living in Texas and I was driving with my friend, and on the radio, Miranda Lambert's song, The House That Built Me, it came on the radio. And to me, it blew my mind because country music it was okay to like country music, and it was celebrated in America. And when I came home, everything clicked. I realized that I was born to make country music, and I didn't care what anyone thought anymore. So, and then Dolly, she came along later once I started getting into the musicality of being an artist and really understanding what she has given us as female artists and what she's brought to the table that allows us to make music now. And I just love her. Like Jolene, every time I sing that song, I'm like, man, I wish I had written this. This is like right up my alley. I love it so much.
Well, I tell you, we're going to play a little piece of that. You were born to make country music, and as soon as I heard this song, it was fantastic, blew me away, and one of the reasons we had to have you here on the program. It came out March the 12th, and it's Katie Jayne and Drunk Dial. You'll get the gist of this as you hear it here on the show, presented by Toir Guitars and Bangtail Whiskey. Hang on for the ride, because here it is.
It's Katie Jayne, and this is my brand new single, Drunk Dial.
One shot of whiskey and I'm texting my ex. 2 shots down and I'm a hot mess. It's another tipsy call that I'm gonna regret. I hate the way I love the way you go to my head. Oh no, I never learn. I've got bridges that I know I need to burn. Yeah, we can talk for a while, but baby, you're nothing but a drunk dial. Drunk dial. I know I shouldn't do it, but I will anyway. I'm not accountable for what I say. Well, I've been checking out your socials and you still look cute. If I talk a little flirty, I'm just teasing you. Oh no, I never learn. I've got bridges that I know I need to burn. Yeah, we can talk for a while, but baby, you're nothing but a drunk dial. Drunk dial. I need to block your number and delete your name, 'cause you're the kind of mistake I keep making again. That I know I need to burn. Yeah, we can talk for a while, but baby, you're nothing but a drunk dial. Oh no, I never learned. I've got bridges that I know I need to burn. Yeah, we can talk for a while, but baby, you're nothing but a drunk dial. Baby, you're nothing but a drunk dial. Baby, you're nothing but a drunk dial.
If you're looking for one of the most beautiful and playable custom acoustics on the planet, look no further than Ed Rice at Toir Guitars. Ed is a true artist, transforming exotic woods into magnificent, sweet-sounding instruments. Go to toirguitars.us, that's TOIRGUITARS.us, and contact Ed today.
And we're back here on the program once again on the Backstage Pass with Newcastle recording artist Katie Jayne. That was Drunk Dial here on the show, that latest single, and we're getting some comments coming in. Of course, everybody is loving that song. Awesome work, Katie Jayne, Shane says, and Karen, love Drunk Dial. And, of course, you're amazing, Katie, from James, and a whole bunch of other cool things. So keep the comments coming. And if you got a question for Katie, you can ask it here on the show, and I will get to as many as I can. I feel like just like the Star Wars operator with the big the Falcon, like I said, Millennium Falcon. I'm always like operate so many controls with videos and comments and this and that. But it's an awesome thing to do. Hey, I want to ask you about one that came out in 2018. You had a lot of streams with it and did real well for you. And the song was No Shadow. Talk about that one and kind of the backstory of it.
Oh, look, No Shadow. So I started my career in England as part of like a duo trio style thing. And I'd never written a song on guitar and lyrically on my own before. And No Shadow, when I came home, was kind of the first song I did. And it's funny because my influences are Miranda. The chords that I used in No Shadow were like a derivative of power chords that I had learnt from a Miranda Lambert song. And it was the first time I really got to, I don't know, be my own artist. And, you know, I didn't have to worry about the other people in the group, and I could just please myself. And it was a co-write with a friend of mine. It was meant to be for her. So we wrote the song. I played the guitar. She was supposed to record it. And a week later, I was like, can I have the song? And took her ages to agree. But I mean, she's happy because the song did do so well. It's got over 450,000 streams. It got playlisted. It was my second release as a solo. And so, yeah, it blew me away. I was not expecting it, but that song will forever have a special place in my heart. And it's fun to play live.
See why. And then you had one last year, even with all the stuff that was going on with lockdown and of course, all the COVID stuff. Why Can't You Love Me came out last year. Definitely went back and enjoyed everything about that particular tune. Talk a little bit about that one and kind of how that one came together.
Yeah, it's the typical COVID song. I think every artist has got one. I had a different song to release, and before COVID happened, the song that it's still not released now, but it's this really big upbeat like party track, and it just wasn't the right time. And I sat there, and I'd spent so much time on my own. This song kind of came about. I guess I was feeling a little bit sad, but a lot of people think it's about a boy, but it's not. It's about how I felt I fit in with my industry. And it was kind of like, I've stopped being like you. As an artist, you sort of look to what's come before you and you try and emulate that. And I'd gotten to a point where I wanted to be my true authentic self. And with that came a little bit like less of a yes woman and more of a hang on, no, like maybe that's not how we're going to do things. And it kind of felt like backs were kind of being turned on me. And I was like, why can't you love me the way I am? Like, why can't I just be myself and still have a successful career and still be able to just make music, And so the song is kind of like, it was all good when I wasn't making waves, but now I have an opinion and I'm not afraid to talk about it. It's like, is this going to stuff me up? So that's kind of where the song comes from. It's just wanting to be yourself and everything be okay.
We're about to play that here on the show coming up here in just a couple of minutes. That's one of the ones Katie it did for us here on the Backstage Pass, and we're going to play that one here in just a second. Why Can't You Love Me, which is out there across all the digital platforms. I got to ask you about this one. I love this too because I talked to so many artists here on the program in Nashville and Texas, and of course in Australia and Canada and all over the world. And it's kind of a two-part question. I guess I get into it. Part one being becoming a musician, having the heart and the soul for it, and just the extreme talent to do things that the normal human being just can't do. I can't sing, and I definitely can't play guitar, but I can host a podcast, which is a good thing, Katie. What's the best part about doing this as a profession? And then what's been the most challenging part over your career?
So it's interesting you say you can't sing or play guitar because it wasn't very long ago that I was in the exact same boat. And people are always confused when I say this. I'm like, they don't understand, but I could not play guitar even 3 years ago. And singing, I've worked my butt off. So I think that's the most challenging and rewarding thing. Like, I was a music fan, country music fan through and through, and now I get to be an artist, and it blows my mind every day that, you know, I worked really hard, and I guess there must have been some musicality in me, but I had to go and find it. The only thing I've ever been good at is writing songs, so it's the rest I had to really make up.
Speaking of that too, the writing songs aspect of it, what's the Katie Jayne kind of writing style? What do you like to put into your, I guess, crafting of writing songs?
If you ask my band, it's always a breakdown and then a breakdown chorus. I do tend to structure songs very similarly, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's the way I feel it. My favorite part of a song is the bridge, 100%. Every bridge in my songs, that's my pinnacle, because it's almost like that's the part where everything comes together. You're leading the story through this kind of like, you know, wave, and then this bridge comes in and it's like, that's right in the feels, or that's kind of what it means. And yeah, so that's my favorite. But yeah, I do all the same structure.
Well, I get to ask you about this in a second. The softer side of Katie Jayne, we're going to talk about Use Me. But first, we're going to play a beautiful video she created for us. Why Can't You Love Me? Here it is from, again, Newcastle recording artist Katie Jayne on the show. And if you don't already, just crank it up. It'll take you on a beautiful ride. Here it is.
Hi, Jayne, and this is my song, Why Can't You Love Me? I know I'm not always patient. I know I'm not always kind. I could be a little hard to handle, but I need you to love me tonight. And when I reach out, all I get is pushback. And when I need you, you're not around. Why can't you love me? And why can't you hold me? I don't know why. Was it something I did to make you not want me? Oh, please tell me why, so I can try to change it and keep you satisfied. You liked me when I was complacent. Was it better when I was naive? I agreed and didn't question my place then. Is that what you needed from me? 'Cause it's lonely out here on the outside, and I just wanted to belong. Why can't you love me? And why can't you hold me? I don't know why. Was it something I did to make you not want me? Oh, please tell me why, so I can try to change it and keep you satisfied. And I keep pouring my heart out, but you're not listening. I keep begging you to come back, but you don't. So why can't you love me? Why can't you hold me? I don't know why. Was it something I did to make you not can try to change it and keep you satisfied. And I swear I'll try to change it and keep you satisfied.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
And I'm just amazed at the notes that Katie Jayne can hit on those songs. That is such a great song. You're right. Everybody's got that COVID song, and man, that is such a beautiful tune. The way you make that thing flow from beginning to end, and just tell a story. I commend you for that, because that's such a beautiful, beautiful song. You should be proud of that one. That's just an amazing song. Gave me goosebumps when I hear it. And maybe if I get my butt over there to your beautiful country, I can hear it live one day. Would love to meet you and come out to a show out there, no doubt. You know, the one that I will say this, the great single that was 2019, is more of the softer side, was Use Me. Talk about just this one, because a lot of great streams. Sure, it's fun to perform live, and I know there's a good story behind it, right?
Yeah, Use Me is man, it was heavy. Use Me was the first song where I had really laid my heart bare. And it was so autobiographical at the time. It took me 10 months to write it, because I couldn't get past the chorus, because I couldn't figure out how it had any sort of, you know, strength or power. It just seemed like such a sad tale. And once I got to the end of the first chorus, I realized that I could kind of turn this around and take back a bit of the power. The rest of the song just fell out, and it was kind of that moment where before we released it, I was so scared, because it just felt weird. It felt really self-indulgent, and the context of the song just seemed so weird, and that I was the only one going through that, and that people would think I'm silly or something. But what happened when I released that song is it just took off, and my inbox was full of people who were telling me how much they could relate. And what that did for me was help me heal, because it showed me that what I was going through wasn't weird. It was normal. And, you know, so many other people could relate, and I wasn't alone. So it was so healing releasing that song. It felt like I could put all the hurt into a song, and then I could put it out in the world, and then it wasn't within me anymore.
That's a beautiful song. Commend you on that one too, because I know that was that the third single, I believe, that was released. Just a beautiful, beautiful song out there. I'm going to go back to some old school now. Katie Jayne, not old school, but 2018 is 3 years ago. You probably know where I'm going with this, because I put this on my playlist in driving to different places I go to, and I need kind of a good, you know, pep in my step, if you will. Sunlit Avenue, if you know I was going to go there. Let's talk about the shaping and the formation of this one, because another great song, and it didn't take long for me to put it on my playlist.
Oh, that's so cool. Look, Sunlight Avenue, like I was saying earlier, I was in a band in England, and I was part of a trio, and, you know, it was kind of my introduction to music. How I was saying I couldn't play guitar and I couldn't sing. So that was the first time I really, you know, I lived in another country, so I was really brave. And we got, the first booking we ever got was the Isle of Wight Festival, which was headlined by the original lineup of Fleetwood Mac. So, like, I am thrown in the deep end, and we only had one song. And so we locked ourselves down in the studio for 20 hours, and we wrote a whole bunch of original songs, and Sunlit Avenue was one of those songs. So it never got used with the band. And when I came back to Australia, I was sort of a little bit lost. I didn't know if I was confident enough to be an artist. I thought maybe I'll just be a songwriter. And a friend of mine heard the demo for Sunlit Avenue, and she's like, just put this song out. Like, what are you doing? Just put it out there and let the world tell you whether you're going to be an artist or you're going to be a songwriter. And it's just a fun song. That song is like, even making the music video for that, we got to make this cute little storyline about young love, and it's an upbeat, positive song, but it's all about how you're not going to marry that person. Like, it's not going to end well. So you know, we're not going to make it past 17, but it's cute and it's upbeat. So And it's my first, it's my baby. So
That's why I had to go back to some old school. And then I know a single that came out, which was kind of very, vibrant there, and kind of an anthem to do that, especially the big festivals that you guys have over there, Tamworth and stuff like that. For that busy music festival, talk about SOS, because that's another one you guys have worked on that was popular and still today. I know was big, kind of the formation of that big festival over there. I want to go to Tamworth one day. That's a big music festival, no doubt.
You need to come to Tamworth. It's think of like the entire city of Austin being taken over by music 24/7, and you've just got to get to see as many artists as possible. It's a very fun 10 days. But SOS, man, it's my drunken pub crowd song. I knew when we wrote that song that I wanted it to be something that we could get drunk and link arms and just sway in the crowd like da 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 da. It's just fun. I quit smoking. And like I said, a lot of my songs are really autobiographical. So I'd quit smoking and I went to a friend's house. And a week later, I'd accidentally had a cigarette at the pub. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm such an idiot. Why did I do that? And he turns to me and he says, it's okay. You only smoke on a Saturday. And I took that literally. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, so then the whole song is about trying to adult and trying to do the right thing, but you're not quite getting it. Like you're not quite perfectly hitting it, but it's okay because that's just part of the journey, isn't it?
No doubt. And like I said, it's tough to give up those type of habits and that kind of thing. So commend you for working hard to get toward that. That's a tough one to do. Like I said, I've told my brother for years, quit doing that. It's bad for you. It's bad for you. But every now and then it happens. But like I said, we as adults, we make those choices, and we got to do, what's best for us. I want to ask you about this because this was cool. And this is how you're becoming kind of that role model for, young ladies in country music, and your songs are really hitting on point. And I want to make sure I get this correct. You got to lecture at the CMAA Academy of Country Music, January of last year, and just talk about that experience. And I want to make sure that event was correct and kind of put that out there, because that's an honor anytime you get to go to an event like that. And for me, I kind of paired it to we just did our first country radio seminar, the big thing in Nashville that a lot of the big media outlets do. I just partook in that one for the first time in the virtual online side of things. But for you, what was this lecture like too?
It was a very full circle moment because I attended the Academy of Country Music 3 years earlier in 2017. And it's a 2-week intensive course. And honestly, like it's a lot. It's great, but it's like you're up at 7 a.m. and you're in bed after 9, and you're just learning as much as possible. So to be asked to come back and give a lecture, it was so it felt really good, because when I went to the academy, I knew nothing. And it meant that in the 3 years since I graduated, I have dedicated my life to learning as much as possible. And it was noticed and it was valued, and I got to turn around. And I love helping artists because I had such a hard time. Like, I'm easy picking. If you want to come and take advantage of me, like, hey, I'll blindly give you my money. But, I had to learn that, artists have stars in their eyes, and sometimes people want to come and utilize those stars for their own benefit. But, I just love teaching, and I still mentor some of the students now, and they still come to me for advice, and I give it all away for free because I feel like it's so important that we have communication between artists and we all kind of stick together, because, music is so undervalued and we're all fighting so hard for it. But it's really cool if we can all stick together and fight the good fight together.
That's a good thing. And I think that's congratulations on that honor, because that's such a huge honor for you. And like you said, it was, to me, when I got into it, there were some nerves there for the big country radio seminar, the online thing we did this year. But hopefully those nerves, once the show hit, man, they were gone. It was like you guys taking the stage, and I was like, free, let it roll. And the next thing you know, I'm talking to a Hall of Fame country guy in Billy Dean on one of the shows. And I went, whoa, okay, now we're going somewhere with this old school country music, which is pretty cool. And Miss Carolyn Don Johnson, we thank her for dropping by during that time span too. Enjoyed that event, no doubt. Looking forward, hopefully, to being back there next year. Well, I got to get into a little segment I call Rapid Fire, Katie, which is good about this. There's no right or wrong answers. It's just a fun segment we do here on the show that's growing like a game show, I guess you could say, which people love it. All right, shortly after the pandemic, or even now, I guess it's still going on. As we were all kind of stuck at home with the cabin fever, what did you find yourself getting into to binge watch? What kind of series?
Oh my God, binge watch. I can't remember what, Yellowstone. I totally did Yellowstone. Everything, honestly, like I just watched everything.
So you're like,
that answer?
That was a good answer. No, you're kind of like checking out. Like I did Game of Thrones and some other.
Oh, Tiger King.
Yes.
What about Tiger King?
It was unique, put it that way. One of those, because once you start that thing, you're hooked. You can't get away from it. So
you can't look away until the very end.
That was about April this time last year. I was kind of getting into it too. So it was definitely one of those unique shows out there that people have seen. It got huge ratings, and definitely it was confusing there for certain parts, but I'll give it a good broadcast review there. All right, let me ask you about this one. Is Katie Jayne do you like to cook more? You like some takeout? Of course, I know when you're on the road, you got to pretty much catch what you can. What's the Australian food you got into lately?
Oh, look, I'm half. If I'm tired, there's nothing better than an Uber Eats. I assume you guys have Uber Eats.
We do.
Or Deliveroo. But I guess like my favorite meal is like a steak and mashed potato and salad. That's my comfort food. But I'm on a diet at the moment, so I can just only dream about that. So right now I'm eating zucchini noodles and salmon. What is that? Man.
Zucchini noodles. Well, the salmon sounds okay, but the
and you put with tomato. It's sort of like a pasta, but it's zucchini. So try it.
I'll give it a shot if I ever find it too. All right, let me ask you about this one. Speaking of the food category, I'm gonna stay with it. Well, of course, this would be prevalent if you weren't on a diet. But let's just play pretend here. If you're ordering a pizza and I can't have a slice, what toppings are you putting on the pizza for Katie Jayne?
I actually had pizza last night, so I'm doing great on the diet. It's chicken. I love chicken. Pineapple. I'm okay with pineapple. Please don't hate me for that. I used to work at a pizza shop, and the pizza tasted so bland in the end because I always had pizza that I ended up putting anchovies on them. And jalapenos. So yeah.
You wouldn't want to do that. I'm not going to judge. I wouldn't even touch a slice, but I'm not going to judge if that hits your taste buds, and that's good for Katie Jayne, no doubt. All right, this will be fun. Do you remember either the title of the first song that you ever wrote, or if you can't remember the title, what was the song about?
Probably a boy. The very first song I wrote, I used to write poetry, but yeah, it was either depressing and dark, or it was about some boy that I'd made up. Some boy with blue eyes. Well, every boy I've ever written about has blue eyes, so I don't know what that's about, but
nothing wrong with that too. The music is vibrant. She's vibrant, and of course, Drunk Dial is. Everybody can relate to it. It's out there across all the digital platforms. I do want to put the website out there, katiejayne.com.au. So make sure you go pay her a visit, give her likes across all the socials. And Katie, such a pleasure to have you here on the Backstage Pass. Looking forward to connecting again. Best of luck with the tour and continued health going forward. And I hope we can catch up sometime here in 21. Thanks so much for being on.
Thank you so much for having me. I just want to do a quick shout out to all the Kate's mates that are listening in the comments. I can see your comments. I'm looking on my phone down here. But yeah, thank you for having me.
You got it, Jesse McDonald. And I know, right, Kate's so hardworking, certainly busted her butt to get to where she is. Appreciate all the comments. Keep them coming. John says, he says, you and me, pizza, and Tammy love some anchovies. I'm like, I'll stay away from the anchovies side of things too. It just says, oh, hey. So definitely shout out to the fans, because it's hard to do that line of work without the great fans out there. We're not done yet. We're going to stay down in Australia, 5:30 today. Miss Catherine Britt is coming on the program here on the Backstage Pass. Looking forward to catching up with her. And then tomorrow, we'll talk with Carly Ryan on the program, and also the band Saliva. Boy, if you like rock music and you remember Click, Click, Boom, you might want to tune into that tomorrow, 5 Central, 6 Eastern here on the Backstage Pass. Thanks to Katie and Toir Guitars and Bangtail Whiskey. We'll see you guys here with Catherine Britt in just a matter of minutes on the Backstage Pass, and stay tuned for more.